Hello, I'm C-Red Fred, and welcome to Bulls History 101. Here are the 7 best draft picks in Bulls history made by the team since the Jordan era began. One qualifier for this list. These cannot be draft day trades. So guys like Scottie Pippen, who was picked by the Seattle Supersonics and traded to Chicago, those moves don't qualify. At number 7, Taj Gibson. Taj was selected 26th overall by the Bulls in the 2009 NBA draft out of USC. One of the best role players in Bulls history. He finished top 10 in Sixth Man of the Year voting 3 times. He finished second in the 2013-14 season. He is one of the most beloved Bulls players to ever wear the uniform. At number 6, Horace Grant. Horace Grant was selected 10th overall in the first round by the Bulls in the 87 NBA draft out of Clemson. I had the honor of watching a game with Horace while I was at NBC Sports Chicago, and he admitted that Doug Collins was the primary reason he was drafted. Doug was a strong advocate for Horace, and he, along with Jerry Reinsdorf, actively lobbied Jerry Krause to select Horace Grant at number 10 instead of Joe Wolf, who was Krause's first choice. Krause ultimately made the call, but Collins' support absolutely pushed this through. At number 5, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was selected 30th overall, the last pick in the first round by the Bulls in the 2011 NBA draft. Some great front offices passed on Jimmy just before he was taken. Pop and the Spurs took Corey Joseph at 29. Danny Ainge of the Celtics took Marshawn Brooks at 25. And Sam Presti took Reggie Jackson at 24. Butler at 30 is arguably one of the greatest value picks in NBA history, and it capped off the greatest 5-year draft run in Bulls history when the Bulls and John Paxson took Noah, Rose, Taj, and Jimmy Butler, all drafted within a 5-year period. At number 4, Tony Kukoc. Tony was selected 29th overall by the Bulls in the 1990 NBA draft. He was actually a second-round pick since there were only 27 NBA teams at the time. The Grizzlies, the Raptors, and the Bobcats were later added to get to 30. The best second-round pick in Bulls history, Tony won the Sixth-Man Award for the 72-win team, and he was a major contributor and later a starter during the second three-peat. At number 3, Joakim Noah. Just before the 2007 draft, the Bulls finished with a 49-33 record. They were a legit playoff team. They should have been drafted at 23. The Knicks were 33-49, and they held the 9th spot in the lottery. But thanks to the Eddie Curry trade, the Bulls held swap rights with the Knicks. At 9, the Bulls selected Joakim Noah, one of the biggest found money steals in franchise history. Noah became a future Defensive Player of the Year, and he was the heart of those great teams from 2010 to 2015. At number 2, Derrick Rose. It's largely forgotten today, but the 2008 draft was widely viewed as a 2-player race between Derrick Rose and Michael Beasley. Beasley had the more statistically dominant college season. He averaged 26 points and 12 rebounds, and many evaluators believed he possessed a higher scoring ceiling. However, by draft night, the consensus had gradually shifted toward Rose as the preferred number 1 pick because of his combination of athleticism, playmaking, leadership, and franchise point guard potential. But guess who Pat Riley took it to without debate? Michael Beasley. If you remember, but there was a loud contingent of Bulls fans arguing for Beasley, since the team already had a point guard in Kirk Hinrich. The Paxson front office does not get enough credit for ignoring that noise and making the right pick in Derrick Rose, one of the greatest Bulls of all time. And finally, the greatest pick in Bulls history, Michael Jordan, selected 3rd overall in the 1984 NBA draft. The Houston Rockets took Hakeem Olajuwon first, and the Portland Trail Blazers took Sam Bowie second. To put this second pick in perspective, Michael Jordan scored more in 179 playoff games than Sam Bowie scored in 511 games in his entire career, regular season included. An interesting side note, Bobby Knight strongly urged the Portland Trail Blazers to draft Michael Jordan with the second pick. Knight, who coached Jordan on the 84 Olympic team, told Blazers GM Stu Inman that Michael was, quote-unquote, the best basketball player I've ever seen. When Inman said they needed a center since they already had Clyde Drexler at guard, Knight famously replied, well, then play him at center. The Blazers ignored the advice and took Sam Bowie instead, allowing Jordan to fall to the Bulls at 3. Michael Jordan at 3 represents the best draft pick not only in NBA history, but in the history of team sports. It's mind-boggling that he fell to 3. Regardless, all Bulls fans are grateful that it happened. Thank you for listening, and check out the Big Red Bus Bulls podcast available on all listening platforms.